Wrexham have done it, making English Football League history. A history that goes back, 150 years? Probably should have checked that before I hit the airwaves here, but it's a long, long time, and Wrexham have done it by going back to back to back promotions. No club in English football history has done that. Wrexham have done it. So, and because this is an American story, because their owners are American, Rob McElhenney's from Philadelphia, Ryan Reynolds is North American from Vancouver. I'm actually closer to Vancouver than Philadelphia. I think I have more in common with folks from Vancouver than in Philadelphia. I love you. I love you, Philly. We're going to talk about it here on the Soccer OG. Thanks for all your support. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Help us get to 5,000 subscribers as we get ready for the busy summer. Oh my God. Our cup will runneth over. And, of course, the World Cup beer. Leave a comment or a question. We'll be happy to open up the discourse. I'm an open book, so let's have it. Now, as you probably know, I don't dislike the Wrexham story, but I don't, obviously I like history, but I'm not Welsh. I admire the Welsh very much. I played rugby for so much. I played with lots of Welsh rugby players. Gareth Bale got me a championship ring at LAFC. So, big fan of Tom Jones, Anthony Hopkins, the arts. But it's, when I see this from afar, this is two very smart guys. And, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney should get, the credit for their financial backing, for what they did with the sponsorships, for the hirings that they've done, but also the compassion, the sense of history, the hands-on approach, being at games all the time. That's awesome. So, they are distant owners, and they've done this since 2021. They've also delivered beyond belief with what they've been able to do, not just getting the promotion for this club, but getting upgrades to the stadium, which are coming. It's a small stadium, and we'll get into that a little bit, but they're refurbishing that, invigorating the local economy. All of this is, making a huge difference for the folks of Wrexham who were selected for this, and they are thanking their lucky stars. That's part of it. It could have been anywhere. Now, I don't watch English League football. I watch the Premier League. I think a lot of people say that they watch English League football. I think they are not being completely honest with us. The American public, by and large, wants to watch the best, so they watch the best teams, the best players. Otherwise, hopefully they'd watch stuff in their own backyard. Watch your MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. But people are watching Welcome to Wrexham, which is also a part of this story, which has made it different than anything we've ever seen, and gives you the belief that, it's not a level playing field because of what these guys have done, which is to their benefit, that they, with this global show, can reach so many new fans where any other club cannot. So they do have an edge in many ways, but as you can see with what they have done financially, they didn't break records with transfer fees or squad finances. They did make some big moves, but it wasn't crazy. Their big record signing was Sam Smith, who was about $3 million. Not crazy. Obviously, if they want to go to the Premier League, that will have to change. And that's part of the story here. Are they going to go from a $3 million transfer to a $10 million, $15 million transfer? We shall see, because there's another club that we were going to talk about that I think we're going to use as a compare and contrast to see how far Wrexham can do. But this is a tremendous story, and it should be celebrated. Not my cup of tea. I don't watch Welcome to Wrexham. As an American, I enjoy the English game, but I don't need the oversaturation, or the British game as part of me, of what we get to see on a regular basis. Because, basically the soccer presentation in this country at the beginning, it's changing a bit now, was by and large from an English perspective. That's how we were taught the game. I'm ready for our American interpretation completely, 100%, maybe 95%. We do need some help from our British friends. But, it's everything is like that. And we got to remember, we're not, I'd rather see this story if it took place in Philadelphia or the American success story, because that's what I can relate to. But I understand it. And I don't want to muddy the waters. That's just one man's opinion. But on this story, as an American story, tremendously impressive. Third straight promotion. a group that values the community, the history. We have seen that through the show. I've watched some of the show, obviously, and some tidbits and links, etc. And their presence when you see them in the crowd. Obviously, the cameras are on them all the time, but they don't have to be there. I mean, they're there at every big fixture. Welcome to Wrexham Show, about to start its 4th season on May the 15th. Huge success story. It's won a ton of Emmys, and we don't get awards, yada, yada, yada. But just numbers-wise, people are tuning in, not just in America. Remember they did those preseason tours in the U.S., which is another stream of income for Wrexham that other clubs cannot match. They're doing that in Australia, I think, next season. This would be a success in, if you look at any sports news in the world, whether they speak English or not, they covered Wrexham. It was a big deal. So they have become a global phenomenon. So, I mean, you just start losing digits on your hands when you start talking about all the incredible things these guys have done. Welcome to Wrexham. The sponsorships. They have United Airlines. United Airlines, not ValueJet or Cheapo Air, all due respect. United Airlines on their shirt. They have all the Ryan Reynolds connections with, was it TikTok and Aviation Gin. And the big step, when we answer the question, could Wrexham make it to the Premier League, they're going to have to find new investment. And there is report that there are some big, deep-pocketed investors, thanks to the work that these guys did. Like, no one wants to do the dirty work that these... I can't even imagine how much they had to roll up their sleeves. And it is documented on the show, from what I am told, about the impossible thing that this could have been started. This dream, Wrexham, off the beaten path, club in dismay, in huge debt. They did the dirty work. So now that the big wig investors can come in and go, okay, and maybe at some point that's where this goes. Maybe Ryan and Rob gets bought out. Not because they want to sell, but because they feel a bigger ownership group might be able to take them to the new heights because of the work that they've done. And they want that for Wrexham, but also because it's going to probably be a huge offer. Or maybe they stay on board, which I think is going to happen. They'll bring in some investors, but that's a case for another day. But if they're going to make the Premier League, based on what I've seen on their books, they're going to have to make a bigger investment, and that means bigger investors, which we have heard have been there at the racecourse ground and are willing to do it again because of the work that Ryan and Rob did. So all of these things, phenomenal. And when I say they have the upper hand, this is because they made that. They had the wherewithal about the reality show, the documentary. They had the wherewithal about using their Hollywood connections. Anyone could have done that. And when we see people throw money, it's just money, players, staff. This was a creative way of approaching it, and I have tremendous respect for that. Play to your strengths, which is what Ryan and Rob did without breaking the bank. Their manager, savvy move, Phil Parkinson, who did say no superstars and no egos. And when you look at their roster, it kind of depicts that. I mean, we've heard big names potentially going there, and they've had some guys that are big names, but they're mid-30s. Foster, McLean, guys like this it's not far-fetched for them to have those guys, especially now that they're in the EFL Championship. There have been reports of Kevin De Bruyne and Jamie Vardy coming there. And based on what I've heard from Phil Parkinson and the approach of Wrexham, I don't think we're going to see a superstar player there because it might tilt it away. And I don't think they're in a super rush to get to the Premier League. I mean, they're way ahead of schedule as is. They're not going to come to the Premier League next season. But I don't think they're going to get dropped back down. I think they have created that base. And they're going to be patient. And by the way, it'd be good for their reality show to keep it going another year or another two because they're going to have a built-in audience. I've seen Wrexham gear all over the place. And I've spoken to people who have become Wrexham fans because of the show. I won't delve into that. But Phil Parkinson says they're not going to go for these big name players. I could see Jamie Vardy, but I don't think they're going to go for Kevin De Bruyne. Because you had one of these go sideways with big money and it gets away from the spirit of the club and what they have done. This thing goes sideways real quick. So I think they're going to be savvy there. And everything they have done suggests that, right? With the players they have picked. Because they were tremendous. They made the promotion clean. There's still a few rounds to go. They are solidly in second. And the last month of the season, they just went on a tear. After they fell into third place, then they just won every game and moved back into second and came on their way up. With regards to the championship, the clubs that are in the EFL Championship, you've heard about these parachute payments. So in order to make the EFL Championship, the second division of English football, whole, the Premier League throws some money down. So the existing members of the championship, minus the ones who got relegated, have that. And that is something that Wrexham is going to have to make up. I think they can. Because remember, they had, was it like a $2 million investment? And they made £26 million. What's that? $36 million come through the gate. Shirt sales match what happens in the Premier Leagues. They have the preseason tour. So the money-wise, with everything we've mentioned, the sponsors matches up with the championship teams. Certainly those from the bottom to the middle. And we'll have to see about the teams at the top. The championship top, not great. As we've seen the last 2 years, the three teams that have been promoted from the championship to the Premier League, 2 straight years, the 3 teams have come right back down. And I don't see that changing because there's a huge gap to the Premier League. But Wrexham just wants to make it. And that's something Rob McElhaney said. The goal is the Premier League, and they've almost got it there. So a tremendous opportunity. So look, I want to applaud them. Great story. Well done. Done with love. We'll have to see. I mean, being the Hollywood guys, there's a lot of stuff on Ryan Reynolds' plate. We don't know where it goes from there, but, there are things that, his wife is in a big lawsuit. We shall see. But it hasn't deterred him, and he has been ever present. I do want to mention the other American success story to compare it to Wrexham is Birmingham City, which is the team in League One that got promoted in front of Wrexham, who were gangbusters. I think Birmingham City have a really good shot of making the Premier League maybe next season or the next. Tom Brady's on that ownership group. He has about a 3% stake, and he is very face forward. Their record signing, Jay Stansfield, $15 million. So you can see when people say that a lot of money's being thrown at Wrexham, it pales in comparison to what Birmingham City has with their American ownership group, Tom Wayne and Knighthood Capital. They are on a rocket ship to the Premier League. Wrexham is doing it with a little more savviness and thriftiness. But Birmingham City, which I applaud, but I wanted to applaud Birmingham City, but when I started reading about their books, I was like, holy crap. This is a different level. So just to compare and contrast with how Wrexham have done this on the coattails of Birmingham, who did it by throwing a ton of money with goals. So to answer the final question, can Wrexham make the Premier League? I think Birmingham can. Birmingham gets there and builds a huge rivalry with Aston Villa in the Midlands, which I think would be good for the English game. Wrexham, not this year. I think they can. It depends on the future investors because of the foundation that has been set, which is better than most championship teams. I think they can. If Rob and Ryan are part of it in 5 years, which is another big if, I think they can in 5 years' time. There you go. 5 years, Wrexham could be promoted, which would be great for the English game too because Welsh football's taken a back seat. And Swansea's been out and Cardiff has been out, so why not Wrexham get in there? The Soccer OG, we tackle all the topics. Like and subscribe. Let's help get those subscriber numbers up. Leave a comment or a question. We'll be happy to answer them. We'll see you soon.